Welcome to the Coaster Spot. This is Alex, and we are back at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey for another update of Flash Vertical Velocity number 6, filmed on May 8th. And we're back in the sky with a good SD card so we could get nice, clear, zoomed-in images. And the weather had just passed. You'll see the storm in the distance that had just passed us by in some future shots that was not forecasted for the night before, so that was fun to wake up to. Just had to delay my flight a little bit and let it pass, but that was fine. And we can see lots of detail of all that track this time. Before it was kind of pixelated. But if we want to take a look on the left, you can see that building just beyond the first drop of nitro, and above it and below it, that is going to be track without the spine. That's going to be for the tower, the vertical parts. So, because that has no spine, because you obviously have those big chunky boys right there. The other three of them stored in the employee parking lot, and another piece of track. But I've also been told that there are more supports underneath the solar panel coverings. So that means hopefully everything is there in place. You can also see that Congo Rapids is liners all in place. It has not been filled yet. Hopefully that happens pretty soon and we can get that ride open for Memorial Day weekend. And because I think Log Flume is definitely not going to make Memorial Day weekend. I think that's going to be more July. Hopefully we'll be able to ride it on the 50th anniversary, because who doesn't want to ride the park originals? Here is the track again. You can actually see they're backing in to pick up another support, it looks like. And right below it actually looks like it's one of the pieces for either the twist out of the Immelin or the zero-G roll. Pretty easy to spot those because there's not that many twisted pieces of track because the ride is relatively straight. You can also see the last two segments of launch that are kind of covered by some plastic to the right of the crane. But here it is, a nice view of that storm that had just passed. You can see the blue sky kind of peeking up in the left corner. And yeah, just beautiful day over Great Adventure. Such a pretty park from above. Always takes my breath away watching the park as I'm flying. And yeah, it's so neat. It never gets old, it really doesn't. But now we're gonna zoom in on the construction site. Well, don't worry, we'll get much closer. And you can see that they are very active on the construction site. They do start at 7 a.m. So let's talk about the ride a little bit. Just in case you're unfamiliar with what this ride is, it's a Vekoma, what people like to call second gen looper. They've been around for a while now outside of the United States, but this will be the first one in North America. So if you think of old Vekoma with the boomerangs and SLCs, don't. It's a completely different company with completely different design mentality. And the Super Boomerang is going to be the second in the world, the first one outside of China. And it's going to have 4 different times that you're going upside down with 2 different inversions. The Immelin stall, which is currently being installed. You can see that the crane is actually still attached to that yellow piece of track that is lifting up and twisting into that stall. And we can also see that a support for the Immelin stall has gone in place. One thing I did notice from China, that it does have additional cross bracing that it was not present in China. Now this could be for multiple reasons. Upon the ride opening, they could have seen that it needed additional supports, or it could just be because different building requirements in the United States versus China, or it could even be because of the soil might not be as firm, so it might need more support so you don't have any lateral movement as much. There's multiple reasons why they might have made changes, but of course the one in China was a prototype, and even the first boomerang to the second boomerang back in the 80s had some small changes that most people probably didn't even notice, but I did when I rode the first 2, which is debatable. If you don't know, there's 2 ways to count the first boomerang. There's one that was first manufactured, that's now at Six Flags Mexico, but it opened way later. The first one to ever open was at Bellewaerde in Belgium. So which one do you pick? Personally, I picked the one that opened first. Both of them were kind of rough, so whatever. But they weren't actually the worst ones I've ever been on, surprisingly enough. I feel like the ones with the aero trains are a lot smoother, typically. And here you can see they actually just detached that crane from that piece of track, and we're swinging out and getting ready to, I think, pick up another piece of track. Unfortunately, You only have a limited amount of time in the air, so was not able to stay any longer. And you can see all those supports. I think all the ones that were present back on Friday are the same ones that are still sitting there. I don't know if there are any additional ones, because I could spot all those cross braces and all that stuff, which if I had looked at the pictures and analyzed a little bit more from China, I would have noticed that nothing like that was ever on the one in China. So not much other changes. Since then, they did do a lot of those catwalks. We saw so much catwalk installation, if you remember from our update back on Friday. Go check it out if you haven't already. Still a good update, of course. And we got to see all that stuff being installed, which was fun, even if it's not the most exciting thing. But all that is now in place with the stair treads and everything. So, and you can see a bunch of yellow on the pad that is for the storage building. I'm assuming that's actually more of those handrails. Does not really look like it's for, you know, whatever method they use to support the train. Usually it goes off the rails and is supported by some wheels elsewhere on the train, so the wheels are fully accessible, so they're easy to change out and do maintenance on. Not sure about that, because I'm not sure what the one in China looks like, because that building is also enclosed. So, and I'm not familiar with what New Age Vekoma transfer tracks look like either. So if you know more, let me know. But there it is. And while we're over here, we have a few things to notice. You already can notice one. I'll let you put it down in the comments down below. Something's already missing that was present last Friday. If you saw it, let me know, but I will point it out later on. But here's the entire park. Not much more that I can really see that was going on, but of course, figured I'd take a look at the log flume because they are really busy on that one. I can't see that any new track was put in yet, or a trough, but I can't say that none wasn't, but they were definitely very active on that. Now, if you want to look in the bottom right corner where the soldiers used to be, on Friday there was a lion. That was a recreation of what used to be at the entrance of the park out on 537, and it's gone. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think that's just because it was not complete. It's going to have a flag that has Great Adventure on it. I think they just took it out to add those bits and pieces. Kind of weird that they removed it and put it back in place and all that stuff, and then just didn't do it from the beginning. Maybe they wanted to get some feedback on how it looked. I don't know. Who knows? Sometimes it doesn't seem like they do things that make much sense at this park. A lot of things, actually. Let's be honest. But that is Flash Vertical Velocity. As you can see, they are now picking up another piece, and I assume at the time of this update coming out that's already in place, so that's neat. And I think we'll see a lot more construction speed up a lot. I think the Immel install is going to be one of the hardest parts of the ride to construct. It's very tall, has a very long span with no supports, and then it does have a support at 45-degree angles, so you need to have additional cranes support that piece of support while the track's going on. So it's not that easy to put in place compared to the rest of the ride. I think the rest of the ride is pretty easy. Of course, it was really quick to put these pieces in because it was very low to the ground. Everything else that gets higher, it takes longer to put things in place. But I still think this should be done within another 3 weeks or so. It depends on how long it takes to do everything else, like the station. It does look like it's gonna have an indoor queue. Hopefully we have some really cool theming inside. That would be absolutely fantastic. That is stanchioned far, far away from guests so it doesn't get all wrecked. But that's it. I figured let's take a look at the park one last time as we wrap up this update. Thanks for watching. This has been Alex for the Coaster Spot. We'll be back again on Saturday night for another update, and we'll also have a first reactions video of Top Thrill 2 on Friday morning. So look for that. And then, as I said, a park update on Sunday. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks again. This has been Alex. Bye.